On this side of the handlebar, what I'm going to do now is lubricate our throttle and idle cable and adjust our throttle and idle cable. So what we'll need to do first is remove the two bolts that hold the switch housing together, and I'll use a T25 to do that. So you just remove the top bolt and the bottom bolt. And that'll let us open up our switch housing, just like that. And once it's opened up, you can see in the back there's our idle cable, and in the front there'll be a cable just like it, and that's our throttle cable. What I'm going to do is use a little bit of light lubricant and spray it down the sheathing, and just slowly let it seep down and follow the cable, and it'll allow it to lube itself. You'll want to use either a graphite lube or a very light type of oil that won't collect dirt or dust. Good. Once those are lubricated, we can go ahead and lock our clamshell, our switch housing back together. When you do this, I recommend depressing the brake lever. The reason behind that is that when you squeeze these together, the brake switch is right there, and if it hits the brake lever and holds onto it while you're tightening it, you can snap the brake switch. So push it out of the way, hold it down, then put your bolts in. Double check, make sure it didn't get hit. And that's back together. Secondly, we're going to want to adjust our cables. As you can see, there's a lot of slack in here. We don't really want that. It doesn't feel very good. You'll want to break the lock nuts loose on your throttle and idle cable. Typically, it's a 3/8 lock nut. This one's a 5/16 because they're aftermarket. And first, what I'll do is check my throttle cable. And I'll do that by rolling it all the way back, and you'll notice you're not hearing a clicking sound. That means we don't have full throttle. The bell crank on the carburetor is not hitting the stop all the way, so it's not opening the butterfly all the way. So what you'll do is just start pulling some of the slack out of this cable by lengthening it. And now, just as I move it about 2 turns, I can start to hear just the clicking of the bell crank hitting its stop. There. So that's right where we want it, just as it starts to lightly hit. I'll lock the throttle cable down. And again, our throttle cable is the one closest to the front wheel, or the one furthest away from you while you're riding. The one closest to us is our idle cable. That makes the throttle snap back. And what we want to do is make sure that the idle cable tightens up our adjustment so we don't get as much free play as we can out of there. But we also want to make sure we have snapback at all positions of the handlebar. Meaning, at full left lock where we're at, it snaps back freely. Turn the handlebars, full right lock, doesn't snap back. So what I want to do is, see as I'm taking the adjustment out, it'll come back. There we go. Full snap back, full snap back, and full snap back. That way, if you're in a turn, you'll be ensured that you're going to get proper snap back and the throttle won't stick. That's where I want it. Lock that down. And our throttle adjustment is complete.